In this video I am going to show you an unbiased report by ABC of Australia about China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Putin second-day meeting in Russia. This meeting is just at the time as some UN criminal court has issued warrant on Putin's arrest on account of Russia's military actions in Ukraine. With Xi traveling all the way from Beijing to Moscow for a friendly meeting announcing deepening partnership between the two countries, Xi and Putin are snubbing that criminal court and the countries in the West. Friends in need are friends indeed. If you like the information I am bringing you in this channel, please comment, like, share and subscribe to all videos in my channel by clicking the bell.
Day 2 of formal talks between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian leader Vladimir Putin have ended with the pair promising a step up in strategic cooperation. But there was little movement on China's peace plan for Ukraine, with the ball being placed firmly in Ukraine's court by Mr. Putin. Many provisions of the Chinese peace plan can be taken as the basis for settling of the conflict in Ukraine, whenever the West and Kyiv are ready for it, Mr. Putin said. Trade and economic cooperation appeared to be the focus of the talks, Mr. Putin said, as his country deals with increasing economic isolation from Western sanctions. Russia stands ready to meet the Chinese economy's growing demand for energy resources, he said, announcing that Russia would help build nuclear power stations in China. Mr. Putin emphasized the nuclear power would be reserved for peaceful use. Additionally, almost all the parameters had also been agreed upon in the construction of a new pipeline that would supply Russian gas to China, Mr. Putin added. On the commerce front, Mr. Putin said gaps in the market left by Western businesses exiting Russia over the war would be filled by China. We are ready to support the Chinese business when it comes to replacing the production of the Western enterprises that have left Russia, Mr. Putin said. The Russian leader also suggested Russia and China could work together to become global superpowers in IT and artificial intelligence. By joining our rich scientific potentials and production capabilities, Russia and China can become world leaders in the field of information technology, network security, and artificial intelligence, he said. Following Mr. Putin's address, Mr. 11 reflected that talks between the two had been frank, open and friendly, and reiterated Mr. Putin's talking points, hailing agreements to grow economic trade. The Chinese leader then turned to his plan for peace. China stands on the right side of history, he said, emphasizing that China holds an unbiased position to facilitate peace talks. The two leaders then signed a joint statement remarking China had positively assessed the willingness of the Russian side to make efforts to restart peace talks as soon as possible. Russia positively assessed the objective and unbiased position of the Chinese side on the Ukrainian question in return. UK supply of ammunition a step along road to nuclear collision. After speaking with Mr. 11, the Russian president offered a warning to the UK over its pledge to supply Ukraine with depleted uranium ammunition. If all this happens, Russia will have to respond accordingly, given that the West collectively is already beginning to use weapons with a nuclear component, he said. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said the move leaves fewer and fewer steps before a potential nuclear collision between Russia and the West. The Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova referred to the plan as the Yugoslavia scenario, pointing to evidence the ammunition causes cancer and pollutes the environment. Depleted uranium is used in weapons because it can penetrate tanks and armor more easily due to its density and other physical properties. Such rounds are highly effective in defeating modern tanks and armoured vehicles, the UK's Minister of State for Defence Baroness Goldie said in announcing the plan on Monday. Japan's PM visits Kyiv. While the Chinese and Russian leaders held talks, 800 kilometers away, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida made a surprise visit to Kyiv. It was a bold statement that while China is hoping to mediate the conflict, neighbor and rival Japan is showing indisputable support to Ukraine. Mr. Kishida met with Ukrainian ministers and traveled to Bucha, a nearby town that was the site of alleged war crimes by Russian soldiers in the attempt on Kyiv. I step on the ground of Bucha today, I really feel great anger for all the atrocious acts, he said. I would like to give my heartfelt condolences to all the victims and the wounded on behalf of the Japanese nationals. His government has provided humanitarian aid and non-lethal military support to Ukraine throughout the war.
Finally, I want to add that what the US has done in recent years have been to push Russia closer and closer to China, making them much, much closer friends. Added to them have been Iran and more recently Saudi and the resource-rich countries in Central Asia, South America and Africa. It is almost all-encompassing. Achieving peace in Ukraine would be the next big thing China is going to do, which will end the loss of lives in Ukraine, put a halt to the world inflation, hopefully help to end the misery Europe is in. For the record, some facts Western media conveniently omit in every report: the start of Ukraine war was the result of NATO trying to annex Ukraine to expand to the border of Russia. With the prospects of NATO and US missiles deployed in Ukraine just less than 500 kilometers from Moscow, Russia will face serious existential threat. Putin requested Ukraine to stay neutral, which Ukraine and the US refused. Hence Russia's military actions. Thanks for watching. If you like the information I am bringing you in this channel, please comment, like, share and subscribe to all videos in my channel by clicking the bell. Thank you.